In this chapter, we will first identify advantages and disadvantages of each of the four main types of wireless transmission media. Then, we are going to explain how businesses can use technology employed by short-range, medium-range, and long-range networks, respectively. Next, we'll introduce how major mobile commerce applications can be used to benefit a business. Following that, we'll describe technologies that underlie Internet of Things, providing examples of how businesses can use each one technology. Okay, I will now go through the last session, which is wireless security. Please study this session by yourself if you are interested. First, let's differentiate between the term wireless and the term mobile. Wireless means telecommunications in which electromagnetic waves carry the signal between communication devices, that is, without wires. Mobile means something that changes its location. For example, Wi-Fi is wireless and mobile. For another example, microwave tower is wireless and fixed. So here I want you guys to distinguish wireless and mobile. Those two are two different concepts. There are a lot of wireless technologies. We'll first introduce wireless devices and then introduce wireless transmission media. This slide lists modern smartphone capabilities. For example, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, email, instant messaging, MP3 music player, video player, so on and so forth. Smartphones dematerialize our consumption of other products, and this process is called dematerialization. Dematerialization occurs when the functions of many physical devices are included in one other physical device. For example, the functions of our camera, books, CD player, and television are included in our smartphones. Smartphone is only one of the wireless devices. We have other wireless devices as well, such as wireless keyboard, GPS systems, and TV remote controls, so on and so forth. Wireless devices provide three major advantages to users. It is small enough to easily carry or wear. It has sufficient computing power to perform productive tasks. Also, it communicates wirelessly with Internet and other devices. However, one major disadvantage for business is workers can capture and transmit sensitive information using wireless devices. For example, people can use smartphones to copy and pass on confidential information. Okay, next, let's move on and talk about wireless transmission media. Wireless media transmits signals without wires. There are a variety of wireless transmission media, including microwave, satellite, and radio. We'll go through each one of these in the following slides. Microwave usually uses microwave tower to transmit signals. Usually, they are on the top of buildings or on the top of mountain peaks. They are used for high volume, long distance, line of sight communication. Line of sight Line of sight means that the transmitter and the receiver are in view of each other. That's why microwave towers are located in very high areas. As we know, the Earth's surface is curved. That's why microwave towers cannot be spaced more than 30 miles apart and are located in very high areas. Microwave has high bandwidth and relatively inexpensive. However, it requires an unobstructed line of sight and susceptible to environmental interference. For example, signals can be degraded with heavy rain or snowstorm. Okay, let's move on to take a look at satellite. Similar with microwave, satellite must receive and transmit data via line of sight. However, satellite has enormous footprint. Footprint refers to the area of Earth's surface reached by a satellite's transmission. Because of enormous footprint, satellite overcomes the limitation of microwave data relay stations. Satellites have high bandwidth and can cover large area. However, they are relatively expensive, require unobstructed line of sight, and require the use of encryption for security. Around the Earth, there are different satellites orbit. And there are three types of satellites. We have geostationary Earth orbit satellite or GEO satellite, middle Earth orbit or MEO satellite, and low Earth orbit or LEO satellites. Each type has a different orbit, with GEO being farthest from Earth and LEO the closest from Earth. The GEO satellites orbit at 22,300 miles in height. These satellites maintain stationary relatively to Earth. You only need to have 8 such satellites for global coverage. However, GEO satellites have approximately 0.25-second transmission delay, and they are expensive to build and launch. The Internet over Satellite, or IOS, enables users to access the Internet via GEO satellites. The advantage of LOS is it provides Internet services to remote areas of Earth. However, iOS has propagation delay and could be disrupted by environmental conditions. The Middle Earth Orbit, or MEO satellites, orbit at 6,434 miles in height. It can be used for global positioning systems, or GPS. These satellites move relatively to point on Earth. You need to have 10 to 12 such satellites for global coverage. You can hardly notice the transmission delay by using MEO satellites, and they are less expensive to build and launch. The low Earth orbit, or LEO, is at 400 to 700 miles in height. It can be used for telephone and internet. These satellites move rapidly relative to point on Earth. You need to have many such satellites for global coverage. Again, you can hardly notice the transmission delay by using LEO satellites, and they are the least expensive to build and launch. Okay, next we move to talk about radio transmission. Radio transmission uses radio wave frequencies to send data directly between transmitters and receivers. Okay, this slide shows the advantages and disadvantages of radio transmission. First, let's take a look at the advantages. Radio transmission has high bandwidth, inexpensive, and easy to install. Its signals can pass through walls. However, radio transmission creates electrical interference problems. Interference occurs when unwanted radio frequency signals disrupt your radio transmission. For example, the use of your television and radio. The effects comes from interference can range from an increase in error rate to a total loss of your data. The other disadvantage of your radio transmission is it is susceptible to snooping unless equipped. Snooping means unauthorized access to another person's or company's data. In the next video clip, we will discuss wireless computer networks, mobile computing, and Internet of Things.